Welcome to another episode of The Untold Stories. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to The Untold Stories. Today in this episode, we are going to talk about a critical component that distinguishes the 1 percentile of humanity from the rest. The segment of people that lead the world we live in and shape and influence the way we experience it is a sense of urgency. They write the music we listen to, the books we read, and the clothes we wear. They are artists, thought leaders, the philosopher, the scientist, and the movers and seekers of the world. They are the people who draw the very boundaries we live within. It is the sense of urgency that separates the people who actually achieve their goal from the rest of the world who are motivated, have the desire to achieve the goal, but somehow are not close enough to their goals. We all have heard that patience is virtue, slow and steady wins the race, inch by inch I'm gonna be there. All of these are fantastic. A sense of urgency is not the opposite of patience. A lot of people confuse that. A sense of urgency that I am referring to here is something that successful people have as the core values of themselves, is knowing what is important and doing with a singular focus so they achieve their goal in the shortest amount of time it will take for them. A sense of urgency comes from knowing that it is very important for me. This is my only opportunity, and because it is so important, you are willing to do whatever it is needed for you to achieve it. So if it requires you to spend more time, you are ready doing it. If it requires you to have the new skills, you are there doing it. Even if there are things you don't know how to do it, you are seeking to find out how to do it. You are not waiting for someone to come and tell you. You don't wait for anyone. You take the initiative. If you try and pursue your goal without a sense of urgency, doing a little bit every day, a little bit every day, a little bit every day, the problem is it does not give you that push. Every significant change in life requires momentum, and for momentum, for that speed to catch up, you cannot push a little bit and stop, push a little bit and stop, a little bit and stop. There is no way you can achieve any momentum in that way. A sense of urgency is like a candle in the darkness. A single candle can transform total darkness into a comforting glow. A pitch dark room is scary, but a single candle can warm the ambience and give form and shapes to all the things around us, thereby making our path a lot clearer. It is that single candle I would describe as a sense of urgency. We need to find ways and means to light it. That candle of hope that sits within us dormant but ready. Mahatma Gandhi would often quote, "I implicitly believe in the truth of the saying that not a blade of grass moves in the wind without his will." If one were to subscribe to this belief, then every minute becomes precious, every hour a gift, every day a potential legacy. Life needs to be lived as it should be, on the brink, taken to its very edge. Your entire perspective of what is right and wrong will invariably change. That is the gift of a sense of urgency. In an instant, life and every breath you draw gets supercharged. You change from ambling along the path of life to racing along the same path. If the rest of the world remains the same, then with a sense of urgency, you would rather not be them. Walking the line of lunacy would then become appealing. It would be far better to be crazy than compliant, to see the world in a different light, to experience the sheer joy of living, to be a flash of light across the sky than merely a wisp of a cloud. It would then be a life well lived. Sadly, a great many of us are not accustomed to having a sense of urgency. Today, most of us are reasonably comfortable. That comfort has turned into a security blanket that we snuggle into, and eventually it becomes a quicksand that sucks us in slowly and gradually till there is no life outside of its parameters. It kills the spirit within us. We would rather seek security than gain success. Security becomes our most desired treasure. We begin to seek it above all else. A real sense of urgency is neither chaotic nor random. It cannot be induced or experienced through an external source. It is channelized, driven, controlled, and directed from within, and there lies the path of true success. A true sense of urgency is one that you wake up to every morning, that drives you as much as you drive it. It is a beacon of light, and it draws from your inner well-being. It should come from a disciplined source, one that you have absolute control over. It is only when you have a sense of urgency that you do not feel the hurt or the pain. You leave behind the agony as you challenge yourself to the point of breaking. Even then, you will keep on going as you forge a wall between yourself and your feelings. You will pick yourself up as you fall unceasingly, surging ahead and thus creating life anew. Success itself will become merely a temporary moment in time. For success by itself is not what you would be seeking. Rather, it is about living in that moment of consciousness before achievements are realized, thereby making the journey always more important than the destination. Success would then become a continuous journey. I recall these lines from a famous African proverb. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle or it will starve. It does not matter whether you are the lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you would better be running. These lines talk of a sense of urgency animals naturally have and thrive upon. We humans, on the other hand, need to raise it and rise with it, and on occasions let it drive us, let it control us. Getting up in the morning with a sense of urgency is a necessary condition, something we need to welcome. A sense of urgency is not an option, it is a necessity. It is something we must cultivate, recognize and renew every day. So what is this real sense of urgency? It is in knowing that every day is truly a gift and one needs to derive the most of it, for tomorrow is not ours and never will be, and yesterday is simply gone. If you do not grab the moment and make it yours, you will simply start to collapse and regress. How do you know you have a sense of urgency? When you know you value time. Every day is lived as if it were your last. When you put pressure on yourself to achieve your goals because there is no tomorrow. When do it now becomes your mantra. One has to connect to a sense of urgency, to a burning desire within, and with the strength and determination to leave the comfort zone behind. This is a daily battle. Awakening to this reality is the most important thing that defines us in who we become. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to the untold stories. And if this episode has matched your wavelength, then share it with people who need it. And just in case you have the time, then you must listen to my other episode, Hopeless End or Endless Hope, where I talked about the power of belief. That's all from this episode. Remember friends, you too have untold stories to tell which can make a difference in someone's life, because certain untold stories are born out of certain lives and certain lives are born out of certain untold stories.